guys, minions, and welcome back to unMadeGaming. We are here for our second one-shot this month. This is back to our homebrew setting of Glenbrook in our Tales from the Loop game. This one is called Frozen Echoes. So if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon. Link in the description down below. Join a community of these fine people that are also over there on our Patreon. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the conversation, be part of the community. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I do terrible, unsuspecting things to these children in this game. And two, every single dollar that goes back into that bar goes back to this channel for all kinds of things like art, editing, hiring things to do stuff, and keeping a roof over my head. Just simple things. That being said, I turn things over to myself to run this game. The year is 1986. The place, New England. More specifically, Rhode Island. The home of Mercy Brown, America's first vampire. The site of many a dark and lurid tale from the mind of HP Lovecraft. The home of the infamously haunted Perron Family. And now the site of one of the largest government research facilities in the world. The Loop. Today is Friday, February 7th. Snow has been falling since the early hours of the morning. And irrespective of where you live, children everywhere are gathered around the television set, waiting in various degrees of dress for the day for that announcement, that ever-hopeful announcement of at least a delay, but at best, the cancellation of school, and what could be the last snow day of the year. And as we see this announcement ticker tape across the screens, listing all of the schools in every county, where do we see Fish? Describe your character, where you are, and what you're looking at as you watch the screen.
She is standing in front of the TV waiting for the announcement, and she has her backpack on her shoulder, and she has a smaller other bag also on her other shoulder. And she is waiting. And as soon as she gets the notification, whether or not she has to go to school or not, she is still going to be running out the door, but she needs to wait to know if she has to go. And because she needs to make a stop first.
Okay. You see Nipsachuk Valley High School ticker across the bottom, cancellation.
Yes! So and yeah, she's like, sweet. And then she turns and she's booking it out the door, and she's heading for the mill.
Perfect. So we see that iconic fist pump. The rest of whatever she needs gets slammed on as you head out. There are already 3 to 4 inches accumulated on the sidewalk outside of your apartment building. You see that the plows have come. There's dirt and salt in the streets, and the streets are pretty clear. The sidewalks have not been shoveled, and you begin racing, I assume on your bicycle?
Yep.
Towards the Broken Mill, or towards the Stillwater Mill. We cut over to Dee Dee. Dee Dee, where are you watching this announcement?
Dee Dee doesn't have patience to watch for announcements. She's outside already in the snow. She is making snowballs, and she is pummeling her Pop's truck with said snowballs. And once Pops receives the message or sees the announcement, he comes outside and he says, "You're free." And she's like, "Yes." And then she makes a run for it.
And where are you headed?
She's gonna jump on her bike, and she's not actually thinking about where she's going. She heads off in a random direction, and that takes her to the mill.
Perfect. We cut over to the Rossi's house. So we see I believe a truck in the driveway. We see a sort of a little bit of a farmhouse back in the woods with a wraparound porch. And Rossi, we see you and your numerous family members gathered around the TV, or at least some of you gathered around the TV. What does this scene look like?
Rossi's dad is just watching the morning news while the mom is basically tending to the dishes of post breakfast. And Rossi is in his little chair in the corners reading a book, waiting for whatever announcements scroll across the screen.
Okay. You see the announcements ticker across the bottom of the screen, and your dad looks up from the news. Doesn't really look up, but just sort of like cocks his head to the side in his lazy boy, and just gruffly says, "School's canceled." To which several of your siblings have a raucous celebration of this. Rossi, what are you doing today?
Rossi just kind of rolls his eyes at the school cancel because he cared not if it was open or closed. Generally, he would spend his morning in the school library anyway. But since the school is closed, I guess he'll go to the hangout spot and see if anybody else shows up.
Perfect. And last but not least, where do we find Jojo?
Definitely least, but probably at the mill already.
Okay. Now, there is a TV there because you... I don't know if you could say stole it, but you acquired... Because it didn't have an owner
Liberated.
before, per se.
Yeah. Hello.
And technically, it was in the ruins of your own home, so I guess it's not stealing. There is a TV here. However, there is no cable. But, on the other hand, Jojo has been pretty damn truant for the last while. So have you been to school since January 24th, Jojo?
Since January 24th. He might have made a 1 or 2 day appearance, but not really.
Okay. I am being reminded in our green room chat here that they jury rigged a TV with the Nintendo that they won from Radio Shack many episodes ago. And I would like to remind people that TV and the Nintendo subsequently then turned into a weird amorphous mass of half human, half robot. So
The
that
TV did. The
TV, but not the entire.
No, that was just the TV.
Fair enough. It doesn't provide you with cable, however.
And
a new TV has
Mike,
appeared.
we won.
Oh yeah. No,
We
I know.
won. Danny won the tournament. He rolled like 4 successes to win that tournament.
We'll see.
Then,
and then he got
then
banned.
he got banned from the shop, and Rossi rigged it so he won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you rigged it so to make sure that we got his just deserves.
Just
the Nintendo.
desserts. Perfect. So I will say, based on nothing but attention deficit fueled hyperactivity, that Fish, you see a blur move past you on bicycle in the vague direction of the mill, to which you see this what is unknown to be Sonic just blast past you in that direction. As you are on your bike, you immediately identify this person as Dee Dee.
Edie's going zoom.
So you hear "Woo" as it goes by you.
Yeah. She'll just stand up on her pedals and race after her.
Okay. So you begin racing as quickly as you can after her. Rossi, how are you getting there? Are you walking? Are you on bicycle?
You said the snow was 4 inches thick.
Yeah, on the sidewalks, the main roads have been plowed.
Rossi yells in to his older brother, "Can I borrow your trail bike?"
You hear something that could be interpreted as the words "get bent," but you interpret them as "that's fine." They sound very similar when shouted from the second story. Yeah, that's it.
Rossi would have taken it anyway, even if brother said no.
Perfect.
So he pulls his older brother's off-roading bicycle off the bicycle rack that's hung up on the wall and takes it along through the snow.
Perfect. You begin bounding through the snow on this nice trailblazer, and you come out the side street that your house is off of, and you see something go past, followed by Fish pedaling as fast as she can go, like that standing pedal, in the direction of the blur, which is subsequently the direction of the Stillwater Mill. Do you follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the three of you are in an unknown race towards the Stillwater Mill, to which, Dee Dee, you arrive first. You didn't have a destination in mind, but you got to stop at some point. Refuel, have a snack, eat a pixie stick. You arrive first, followed by a huffing Fish and a casual Rossi, who has arrived moments after you to the Stillwater Mill. Jojo, you hear the telltale grinding of gravel and rock underneath the rear tire of bicycles, and you know that several people have arrived outside the Stillwater Mill. What are the four of you doing?
Yeah, I think Jojo would hear Fish go, "Hey, Dee Dee," and she'd like be waving, and then she's like, "Rossi, hi, snow day, wee!" And then she's just gonna get up and she's gonna run inside with her bags.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, she would have. Yeah, she would have left her school bag because she doesn't need that anymore. So she just has the other like a duffel bag.
Okay.
And she runs in. Jojo!
Rossi, Dee Dee.
Well, Dee Dee got
There
there
she-
first. And when she gets there, she just like skids into a halt and then jumps off the bike, doesn't bother to ride it. It clatters over. She runs forward and like in the same direction that her bike was going. And then she begins to like kind of parkour up the wall. And as she does, she's saying, "Losers!"
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I imagine it's that, like, you reach out as far as you can, grab both railings, and sort of, like, Spider-Man yourself up the stairs in that way, taking as many as you can at a time. Rossi, you see this happen. You've never met Dee Dee, so there's a small child who just called you all losers and began to run as fast as a 12-year-old can move into the Stillwater Mill, to which you hear Fish yell, "Snow Day," and then chant Jojo's name and follow her up, as if this is now a normal occurrence since you've been here. Rossi, it feels like home, almost, with the amount of siblings you have. What are you doing?
Rossi just kind of rolls his eyes and casually walks up the stairs, making sure there's no ice on it to slip on.
Perfect. You slowly make your way up the stairs. Puddles of like muddy snow are forming, and you get up to the top where we see Fish, Dee Dee, and Jojo on the hideout floor here. Dee Dee, what are you doing as you get to this floor?
Dang, is there anything for Dee Dee to climb?
Is there anything safely for Dee Dee to
No,
climb?
no.
But there are like beams, chunks of scaffolding, like furniture around here, things like piled up in a corner that are precariously like just leaning. So there's a number of things you could climb.
Yeah, so go ahead, G.
I was just gonna say, I kind of imagine like Dee Dee has returned now that she knows the relative fun unsafety that the mill is. So we probably have seen her in the couple weeks since their last little meeting, and so like we probably like piled up furniture to build like a fort or like stuff that you can climb on and stuff like that.
I dig
So,
that. I dig
yeah.
that. A bunch
Yeah,
of
I'm into
overturned office chairs, desks combined,
Yeah,
blankets over the top.
yeah. Almost like an obstacle course or something they have to like
Yeah.
crawl and like army crawl through and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So she's hard at play.
Okay, great. So you are training for the Speed Racer Army. As Fish enters, Jojo, you hear the cacophony of sound bombarding up the staircase, giving you ample time to leave the actual office that you guys have set up as your club, so to speak. You see Dee Dee like thoroughly engrossed in her obstacle course. Fish has come there, and slowly making his way up the last flight, you see Rossi.
Dude, morning. It's a bit
Morning.
early to be up and out.
School snow day. And she's like, hey, and she like runs and she flops the duffel bag down at his feet. He's like, I got it, check it out. And she's gonna crouch down and she pulls it open and she pulls out shirts that belong to her dad that he no longer wears. And since she's in charge of laundry, she has snagged some of these pieces that he's not gonna miss to give to Jojo to wear, so he has clothes.
Okay.
And she pulls out his homework for the classes that he's not attending.
It's a large stack of homework.
Thanks for some of this. Not all of it.
Well,
And
dude,
he
if
takes
you're
the
not
homework and just puts it to the
no,
side.
she takes it. Dude, if you're not gonna go to school, you have to do your homework. Otherwise, you're gonna get held back, and then we're not gonna be in the same grade anymore.
What does it matter?
She has
I
a
mean,
point.
other than that. But if you just don't go to school, it's fine, right?
Well, no, because you gotta learn things, right, Rossi?
Isn't the truancy officer trying to find you, Jojo?
Well, see, the thing is with truancy officers is they usually go to like your parents, and I don't know if you've ever met JoJo's, but his house
No,
recently
Rossi
burnt
has
down.
not
and
met.
Yeah, his house recently burnt down, and no one seemed to give a shit except for JoJo, and only a little bit of a shit was given.
Because if you've met his parents, maybe let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you see them,
I don't
just
think
give 'em a
anyone's
shout.
met his parents.
Yeah. So that was kind of one of the questions I had, Mike. When she goes to collect to his separate classes to collect his homework, does she get any kind of kickback or any kind of weird behavior from his teachers?
Here's what I'll say. You've been collecting his homework per what you've said in between. So it's almost an expected thing. You have only collected his homework one way. There's never been homework turned in.
Oh no.
So so you don't get any kickback because it's and like I'll say UG can't tell if it's because they're like, this girl hasn't caught on that her friend's gone, so we're just gonna keep letting her go on this way because it's real sad, or something else is happening and somehow his homework's getting turned in. It's one of the two of those things. Or
Okay, but okay. So there's nothing weird where they're like, "Who's JoJo?" It's nothing like that, right?
No, everyone knows who
Okay.
he is. He was in class
Perfect.
before. He's been here for several years in the school.
That's all I really
yeah,
wanted
you
to know.
get stacks of homework.
Okay.
I assume it's not actually a pile. It's probably like the last week or so since you haven't been here. But yeah, you get his homework. No one's giving you any flack about it. They just give you a pile of homework.
Yeah.
Was that your only question?
That was my only question.
Okay, cool.
I was paranoid. I would get like people being like, "We don't know a JoJo." But
No.
Who is this kid?
No, there was a formal announcement about the Johnson residence burning down, and that was the last thing you really heard about him in the town.
Okay.
Perfect. Cool. So you hand that over. The four of you are here. My question is, JoJo, before they arrived, what were you doing?
Probably either sleeping, or if he wasn't sleeping, he'd be playing on the Nintendo.
Okay. Cool. That's exactly what I wanted to know. So you all can hear over the sound of whatever Dee Dee is doing. You can hear the sound of that 16-bit or 8-bit soundboard playing from the office. And I imagine that none of the lights are on because JoJo wouldn't turn them on. So all you see is like, yeah, exactly. All you see is like blues flashing inside the office of whatever game he was playing on. That being like the brightest color you guys can see. So you hear these like noises coming from the office and light flashes. And then whatever the sounds that Dee Dee's making through her obstacle course fort circus situation. So now that you're all here, you've all assembled, it is in fact a snow day. What are you all doing together?
I think one thing that Fish has become more or less in the past few months, especially without JoJo's living here, is she's taking on a much more like a strict nurturing role. And she now that I know that he hasn't been turning in his homework, she's almost like acting like his tutor. And she's gonna sit down with him and make sure that he gets like some of his homework done. And she's going to take out the clothes that she got, and she's gonna refold them nice because they probably got all jumbled in her bag, and she's gonna place them like on an upside down milk crate or something that's like by the hammock, and she's gonna like fold it and put it down. So she's very mother henning Jojo.
There's like a filing cabinet of various degrees of used clothes that Jojo has.
And it's all too big because they're man size.
Yeah. As well as an overflowing, like one of those desk side waste paper baskets that's just overflowing of fast food Whomper bags. Because that's all that Jojo lives on is snacks and Whompers. Perfect. So the room that is your clubhouse has an odor. Right, is what I'll say. There is the smell of a month's worth of fast food bags, which ironically just smells like a brand new fast food bag. Which is gross in itself. Once you hit adulthood, that becomes gross. As a teen, that's fine. And then there's an undercoat of this just essence of teen boy funk that it just permeates the existence of this. And if you know the smell, you know the smell. It can only be described as a funk. So that's the status of the room that you have there. Two hammocks lie in there, filing cabinets, the computer is, or sorry, the computer, the TV with the NES hooked up to it, the bootleg cassettes are there for the NES, or cartridges rather. And Fish, you begin to pull out homework assignments, to which Jojo, how do you respond to that?
Not well.
Great.
Jojo just goes, I don't need this, dude. It's fine.
And she like cocks her hip and like looks at him.
You just find a nerd. And he like side eyes Rossi.
You have
find a
to
nerd,
do it.
they do it for you, and
I'm not doing your homework, Jojo.
You have
don't need it. It's fine. You learn on the job. It's fine. You just get a job and then you learn there. It's fine.
I have a question. Speaking of jobs, have you been going to yours?
Yes. Jojo would have been going to his job.
Okay.
That's how you buy Whompers.
That's how you buy Whompers?
Touche.
You need a job to buy Whompers.
That's true. The $1986 menu was slammed full of stuff. You could get a feast.
Fish does not have a job to pay.
Yeah, you swipe the coins out of the spare change bowl. That's where the keys go. Anytime your dad has like pocket change, it just comes out of there. And every once in a while, you are able to afford a one Whopper. Perfect. So the three of you are sort of in the office. Dee Dee, what are you doing as you overhear a conversation about schoolwork and jobs, boring things?
I think that she's been making a lot of noise, and then all of a sudden it goes quiet, and they're having a conversation, and then in a break in the conversation, all of a sudden she is standing there amidst them, and she is in a power stance, and she says something like, I might be the fastest race car driver that ever lived, but I couldn't do it without the best pit crew around. And then she holds out her hand to shake Rossi's hand, and says, welcome to the team, kid. On this crew, we're all winners.
This is Dee Dee.
I love this introduction so much.
Rossi pulls up his fist and is just like, sorry, I don't shake, fist bump.
It's Shane's cousin, Dee Dee.
Rossi's met Shane, I think. I think everyone's met. So
yes, everyone knows everyone.
Perfect.
So she's one of Shane's relatives.
And I feel like you appear in that off-putting way that only children of a certain age can appear, where they're just behind you and a little bit too close, silently, like Ninja Death Squad. The four of you have gathered as Dee Dee's pit crew. which is now the new name for the group. There is homework strewn about in a somewhat organized fashion, which is unbecoming of Fish, based on classwork. And Jojo, I imagine you're slowly inching back towards the Nintendo to avoid any amount of work that your friend mom is giving you. And
Yeah,
you
she's like muttering like, okay, then we have to do with these, we got to conjugate the verbs, and then we got to go to the multiplication tables, and then she's like lining up the piles of the different homework assignments.
Of course, yes, high school Spanish.
Yeah.
You all
Patia's
hear...
lined them up has lined them up in piles, and as she's turned from one pile to another, Dee Dee has grabbed one from the top of one of the piles and has turned it into an airplane, and it is now across the room.
Perfect. There's a Tower of Hanoi stacking game happening as Fish tries to undo what Dee Dee is doing. The four of you gather in this room. Jojo, you controller in hand as you're slowly easing down into the beanbag chair. You all hear a sound that at first reminds you of the national broadcast system alarm that sort of rings out across all computers. And then those of you who are astute will recognize the fact that you're not hooked up to public access. And therefore, there's no cable coming in to have this alert go through your airwaves. You don't even have rabbit ears on the back of the TV to pick up this. And as you listen, you hear a series of beeps, both short and long. But the telltale, like, rainbow colors don't streak across. Jojo, whatever you were playing before is still playing. However, this sound has taken over whatever 6 or 8-bit sound was happening, regardless of what you do to the TV.
Well, she spins around and she looks at the TV. Is it coming? It's coming from the TV?
Yep.
Right? Yeah, okay. And she's written on the top of the TV, Billy TV. And she just turns and she looks like, oh, it's doing something! It's doing something! And she's gonna go to the TV. What is it doing?
It's not hooked up. It's not hooked up to anything. It can't pick up anything.
But maybe it's Billy. Maybe it's Billy's back. And she's gonna she's gonna investigate the TV.
You can. Okay. What are you trying to do to the TV?
What am I trying to do to the TV? I want to try and... Oh, no. I don't have any abilities to really do this, so... No,
you just tell me what you're trying to do and I'll tell you what to roll.
She's good. She wants to see if Billy is back.
In
the TV.
Like... in the screen or physically inside the TV?
How we saw him before.
Okay, cool.
Not like squished inside the TV.
Well, listen, you only saw him on the screen. Other people saw him squished inside. So
Yeah.
I have to ask. You look, and as far as you can tell, no need to roll anything, you still see whatever game Jojo was playing. In fact, Jojo, if you're pressing buttons, whatever characters on the screen is still responding to those buttons. Just whatever background music and sound effects the game would produce is now being overlapped by these beeps.
Is there still a remote?
I don't... Yes, yeah, there was a remote. Yep, it was the present you guys got. So I imagine that's still here as long as you guys brought it back.
Yeah, it would have been sitting on on top of the TV.
Dee Dee will punch in whatever code it was the last time we had him appear on the TV.
Good call. Nothing changes. You start hitting buttons, and obviously, those of us who remember the NES and how it hooked up to the screen, you change, as soon as you hit a number, it changes to that channel, and you just see white fuzz. And whatever game Jojo was playing is now on channel 3. You're on channel 4, you switch to channel 6, 8, whatever channel you go to, the white and black fuzz is still there, and that beep is consistent. And those of you who are paying close attention, the beep, whatever the sequence is, doesn't restart when you change the channel. It just continues as if it is one contiguous beeping, regardless of the channel you're on.
Yeah.
Hey, Fish.
Yeah.
I know I haven't been around all that often, but whatever did happen to Billy Duncan? I know he got stuck in that game because what we found at the Radio Shack, but beyond that, I know y'all have had some misadventures involving him, but I never got informed.
Well, you know what it was on the news, right?
Yeah, I saw the news story.
Yeah, that's all we really know. And are you Matt, are you asking about what happened in
I would assume, obviously the player knows, but Rossi as an entity doesn't know about the events other than that Billy's supposedly dead.
Yeah, like he apparently died, and she glances at Jojo. The news said that he died in the hurricane, but Mr. O'Rourke had him prisoner in the basement of the Radio Shack. And then when Jojo and the others tried to rescue him, it just didn't work. It was Mr. O'Rourke's fault, and now he's missing.
But then he turned up in my house and
In the TV.
this TV.
Yeah.
That's how we got a new TV.
Mm-hmm. And when we talked to him inside the TV, he thought he was still at the Radio Shack back in October when we were doing the not the Super Nintendo, we were doing the Nintendo contest. He thought it was that day still.
That happened a while ago.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't. Still makes me sad. Yeah, that was the day y'all started that stupid mob rumor.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's stuck. And it's a good rumor. You should keep running with it. But then we told him to try leaving the VR headset that he was wearing. And then the TV just went offline. So we don't know what happened to him. So I'm hoping maybe he comes back. I don't know. Because we told you what happened at the
Mike,
old
is the
Radio Shack.
beeping happening in some sort of recognizable pattern?
I'm so glad you asked. It sure is. It sounds like boop, 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 boop. And then there's a space. And then it says boop, 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 boop.
Okay.
boop,
Okay.
boop,
Obviously, I
and it
recognize that as
repeats.
Morse code,
And it
but
repeats
I don't
over
know
and
how to
over
read
again.
Morse code.
Yeah.
Funny you should ask. It's like I have a whole sheet of notes today.
Ugh. Can we get a piece of paper because we have
Rossi has opened up his journal, and he is.
Yeah.
Has Rossi identified this as Morse code? At this
Do any
point,
of you have
I'll
any
make a mind
reason
roll
to
for
identify this as Morse code? Are any of you like a scout, or ham radio aficionados?
I think Rossi would be, if anybody.
no.
Okay.
Rossi's a bookworm.
In
Not a
that case,
technical person.
anyone who wants to can roll me comprehend.
I will roll. This fish is smart. Where's my thing? 1 success for fish.
Same. One success for Rossi.
2 successes for Dee Dee.
Outstanding. Everyone except for JoJo identifies this as Morse code. My question for you, Melissa, is why can Dee Dee translate it?
Because there was a whole episode of Speed Racer on it, and she hyperfixated on it, and she asked her dad to tell her all about it, and he brought home a worksheet one day, which he paid attention to for 5 seconds, and then that's it.
Great. You all identify this as Morse code. And before Fish and Rossi have time to even copy it down, Dee Dee, you've heard it overlapping and overlapping and overlapping, and despite whatever they're doing, that's the thing you focused on is all the beeps, because it's the most different sound happening in the room. And by the time that it dawns on everybody, you have already figured out in your head that this booping is Morse code and represents 41N space 71W.
Dee Dee is playing hopscotch, in the open space next to them, and doesn't tell them that that's what it says. Instead, those are the numbers that she's chanting as she plays hopscotch.
Great. So Rossi and Fish, you identify this as Morse code and begin to write out the dots and dashes. As you do so, you can hear that Dee Dee is repeating something over and over again. Jojo, while they're trying to figure this out, you seemingly have lost interest. What are you doing?
Jojo would probably get up because it's an annoying beep and these two nerds care about it. So he can't turn it off. So he would probably walk out to go and... Bad idea, but see what Dee Dee's doing.
Great. She appears to be playing hopscotch and chanting letters and numbers.
41N71W. Over and over.
And what does that mean, kid?
Yeah.
I think it's directions.
She writes it down.
To what?
41 north, 71 west.
Probably to where your friend is.
Rossi looks around his makeshift desk. You see these books and things scattered about this place from the various misadventures. Like, don't I have a map somewhere, Fish?
Probably, and she's gonna dig through everything.
Yeah. You pull out a topographical map of Rhode Island, of which you can find 41 north by 71 west, per Dee Dee's directions.
And she'll nudge Rossi and point and motion to Dee Dee. Like, see, she's really smart.
Whether she realizes it or not.
Yeah.
Which is typical. It's typical of that neurospicy. You sort of find the lat long and you find this grid to where this is, and that location is in Glenbrook, or more specifically, just outside of Glenbrook. And those of you who were present for Next at 6, this is in the forest near the lake, which has now been retroactively been named the Dreaming Lake.
Dreaming Lake.
Oh boy, it's the lake.
Jojo.
Always the lake.
She points. It's the lake. She's like stabbing the map. The Dreaming Lake.
I think all three of you were at that.
Do you think it's the mirror
Rossi was
world
gonna-
again?
I don't know. I hope not.
Dee Dee, again, it seems like every time you hang out with this group, they just start saying some of the weirdest fantasy book stuff. Like the Dreaming Lake, the Mirror World, our friends inside of a TV. Just crazy things like that.
It doesn't faze her whatsoever.
Perfect.
Yeah, she'll stand up and like turn around and face Jojo. It's at the Dreaming Lake. It's telling us to go to the Dreaming Lake.
Better than homework. Let's do it.
Is it gonna?
You're gonna finish your homework, or else. And she
I
Do
don't
stomps
that
her
later,
Go
foot.
to school.
Fish. The
She
lake
stomps
might be
her foot.
iced over, so be careful.
Yeah, I hope so. Do we know if because the Dreaming Lake is it kind of like not a landmark, but it's a place where people know of? Do we know
Yeah,
if it's
it's a place on the map.
Yeah.
It's it's been site surveyed. Nothing going on there. Most people skate at the quarry when it ices over. The Dreaming Lake is like it's in like a national preserve. Is that area? over
Okay.
there.
So what does the local lore say that we might know as kids about the Dreaming Lake?
That's a great question. if you think your character would be interested in local lore on landmarks, go ahead and roll me investigation.
Ah, drat.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you rolled a 2. Oop. Oh, you did. Great.
Fish did. Who moved to a new town and learned everything she could about it.
This is a weird place.
You know?
It's like Tahiti. It's a magical place. It's weird shit goes on.
Rossi cares more about the people, not the places.
Let me pretend I had that document of lore about the Dreaming Lake open, and then scroll. I have lore. I just didn't expect you to actually ask for it. Cool. You know.
But I can also imagine it'd be like we're gonna have like kids' knowledge of the Dreaming Lake, right? So
I assume that like you'd have like local talking points, but I assume you being from California would have probably researched the area you're moving to, being stuck on a transnational drive with your dad who barely talks to you. It gets boring pretty fast. You've been there before. The Dreaming Lake is known for its mirror-like stillness. It is a very reflective surface. You also know that it is not a naturally forming lake. This lake was handmade. Who made it? They have no idea. And when it was made, no one's done the work to like carbon date when the formation was made. But it is imagined to be a bowl. It is almost perfectly not spherical, but almost perfectly circular, as if it was like mathed to be that way. And it is well over 100+ years old. But yeah, it is known for the mirror-like surface. It has long been the subject of eerie tales and local legends of strange, visitors complain of having strange dreams when camping in the area, hearing otherworldly music or strange visions, which all of this seems to tie in with your experience at the Mirror Lake, or at the Dreaming Lake, rather. And you've heard more recently as in like the last like 6 to 8 months, that there have been reports of sleepwalkers in that area. This is also something that you experienced firsthand. There being people sleepwalking out towards the woods in that area. Other than that, that's really it. There's weird like dream things. People dream of the lake, having like been there, having gone there. Like their next few nights, they'll dream of it. Nothing is substantiated, and everything seems just sort of strangely related to dreaming. And you think that's probably where it got its name from.
Is this lake ever known to dry up?
No. There are also claims that people have drowned in there and that the lake is haunted by their drowned spirits. Again, that has not been substantiated, and the lake isn't that deep. Not that you can't drown in 2 inches of water, but it's not that deep that people could probably see a body in it.
Yeah. And that's one thing Fish would say is like, yeah, after that weird experience we had there, I looked into it, and then she will relay all these little details that you just told us. We should go there.
So
Rossi just kind of turns and stares at that shard of the mirror that he has just on the corner of the desk. God, I hate interacting with that type of stuff.
Unrelated, the scar on your hand sort of throbs.
It's the Shadowheart moment from BG3.
Yeah.
And she kind of like, come on, we should go check it out. Like, why is Billy TV wanting to send us there? Maybe Billy's there.
Yeah, don't worry, buddy. I'll keep you safe.
See? Dee Dee's got it.
Can we make sure we take lights with us this time?
It's daylight.
Yeah, now.
Mm-hmm. think we're gonna be there all day? Okay, fine.
Never
And
know.
she'll
Big
get like their camping lanterns out.
It is like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so it's still probably
Don't take
dark
risks.
in February.
Yeah, that's true. It is. The sun is just coming out over the trees.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll race you there. He's out the door.
Perfect. Remind me, Melissa, Dee Dee is from Glenbrook, right? She's not like a transfer. Okay, cool. Then you would know exactly where this is. It's on maps. It's a local place. So you immediately start sprinting down the stairs, expertly dodging all of the puddles that have now saturated the stairs. And
Slides down the rail.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime there's too much water, slides down to make your way outside. I love that. What are the three of you doing? At least two of you know that if you don't hurry up, she will get there before you.
He's like, come on, we gotta hurry, or she's gonna get there before us.
Jojo's
Get
grabbing the
eaten by the
bag
lake.
that Fish packed,
Mm-hmm.
chucks it over his back, and then just books it.
Rossi, let's go. And she's running too.
Rossi stands up and starts running out the door.
Okay.
Maybe this will be it, she says to Jojo. Like, maybe we can find Billy and then everything will be okay again. And you can go back to being normal. I mean, you know what I mean. Not
Nice,
living
normal
here.
dude. It's good. Well, where else am I going to live? And he carries on going.
Perfect. So three of you right your bikes and begin to head off. And for the sake of expediency, I will say, Fish, you have found a way, actually, you know what? Jojo works at a machine shop. So you will have had time to fabricate pegs for the back of your bike. Skateboarding in the snow is less than ideal.
I thought you were gonna say he put skis on the bottom of his skateboard, and he's like,
Jesus,
That
just
would've been
snowshoes.
fun. That'd have been great.
No. So we see Dee Dee racing off. First behind her is Rossi, followed by the slowest of the group is
I'm not
Fish.
slow.
Is Fish with Jojo standing on the pegs, hands on shoulders, as you drive the two of you. Yeah, you're slow because you're twice the person on one bike. As you all race down the side street and across Main Street towards the forested area outside of Glenbrook, where the Dreaming Lake lies. As you all speed through the town, unless you stop to go anywhere, you see on various hills there are groups of kids sledding. You see there are snowball fights happening throughout the town, some over streets. You see various snow men, creatures, etc. are being erected by the children, and snow angels of all sorts take place on every flat surface as you go by. Heads turn as you kind of race down the street. Everyone else is in full snowsuit mittens hat, and you are all in whatever it was you were wearing when you left. I assume only Dee Dee is properly dressed, because I feel like her dads would have forced her to dress like that.
Yeah, we're too cool to be warm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've hit that age where it's the winter and you have no jacket on as you shiver to death outside of outside your bus stop. So the four of you race towards this area of forest outside of Glenbrook. Quickly arriving there, we cut our scenes between those two locations, and you guys skid to a halt where the trees start to thicken. Now you can still roll your bikes in this way, or you can leave them here, whatever works for you. You have a vague notion of where this 71 North, 41 West is, or whatever the number I said before. 41 North, 71 West. And Rossi, you have your map. So without compass, protractor, etc., you're kind of like, this is the general area we should walk in the woods. How do you approach this woodland area?
Well, Fish wants to go straight in.
Okay.
Well, surely that would be determined by how fast Dee Dee runs. Because if Dee Dee doesn't stop, I don't think we're going to get a choice to go in there quietly and cautiously.
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I rolled a 2 on move, so I think she got there first. And she hit the tree line, and promptly forgot why they were going there and started climbing.
Perfect. I love that. So you all arrive as you see again, bike tossed to the side. And I imagine it's that thing where like you put the kickstand down, but then like leapt off the bike, so the kickstand is now buried in snow and dirt as the front tire is still spinning.
Ooh, love that.
As you race in, you see the last vestiges of the, I believe it's red, the red hood, or the red snow hat, snow
It's
hat,
a knitted wool cap, and
Wool
then she
cap.
has her goggles on top.
Perfect. You see the last glimmer of the red cap that that Dee Dee's wearing vanish behind trees, and then you hear the creaking boughs of pines above you and the snapping of branches. You assume either snow has fallen or Dee Dee has begun climbing trees. One of the two.
Rossi's going to pick up Dee Dee's bike and lay it against a
Aw.
tree along with his brothers that he's borrowing, so it
What a
doesn't
nice
get
boy.
buried.
What a nice boy. The snow is still falling. Fish, Jojo, what are you doing?
We are going to park our bikes, and again, she looks at Jojo, and they probably weren't saying anything during the ride, but when they get there, she's like, "This could be the one. This could be the solution we need."
Only hope, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, and she's gonna jog into the forest. Rossi, you got the map?
Yes, I got the map, Fish.
Sweet.
Let's get in there, since it seems we gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a investigation from Dee Dee, and I would like a comprehend from whoever's trying to navigate with the map. And if anyone is assisting the navigator, you can get an extra bonus die from each person assisting.
Oh, I already rolled.
I'll help him if I can.
I already rolled.
Okay, just roll me an extra d6 to see if you succeed.
I'll use luck to reroll.
Okay. Yeah, as a reminder, you guys have luck. Depending on your age, you also have your pride, which is an automatic
That's
success.
a 6.
And you can push if necessary.
So it's a success when you roll a 6.
It is a success when
Right.
you roll a 6. Yep.
Oh,
Any 6
that's
is
a
success.
6.
So, Dee Dee, you are climbing up this. It gets more difficult the higher you go, as there is more and more boughs full of snow. And you don't actually get very high. You're maybe 10 feet off the ground. You can see higher, but there's just so much snow caked on that it becomes like every time you move, you just get pummeled with a huge drop of snow from above you. So you don't actually see anything from your vantage point. Rossi, on the other hand, with the assistance of Fish, you have looked at the map, sort of, angled yourself to the direction you're fairly confident you're facing, and you get a slightly more accurate depiction of where these coordinates are. They are deeper into the forest, and they are the direction you've angled yourself. So you know if you walk straight, if there is something in this direction, you should hit it.
You're right.
Well, map says that way.
Yeah.
And he points in the direction.
Dee, don't lag behind. We're going this way. And she's gonna
I'll race you.
Okay.
This is
You're gonna
this is
get lost.
This is a lived experience for me. The speed in which a tween can climb down a tree is met only by the snapping of branches. So as Dee Dee says, "I'll race you," you just hear as like a dozen branches snap beneath her feet, as every one she lets go of breaks as she's on her way down the tree.
It helps slow your fall a little bit, right?
Exactly,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, 100%. It provides the friction necessary to not eat it. When I was 12, we had a tree climbing club, and that was all we did was climb trees in a forest. So, so you quickly break every branch on your way down, rendering that tree impossible to climb for years to come. As you thud to the ground, in a wet splotch of snow and take off in the direction that you see Fish, Rossi, and Jojo facing, assuming that's the direction that they're going. You all see this streak of red and white burst past you into the forest. Are you chasing after her, or are you walking at a normal survival pace?
We're walking at a good clip, but yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Dee Dee, I will say, actually, I will say because of the speed at which Dee Dee moves, I will take an investigation roll to see if she notices it in time to stop.
I'll try that again.
Hell yeah. Cool. So not only do you notice it in time to stop, you notice it well before and beeline towards it. So as you're going straight, something catches your eye. It is a different color than everything around you, which is, mostly brown of the trees and white of the snow. You see a patch of fairly vibrant green just off, not exactly in a straight line. You kind of have to bend to the right a little bit, but you see a patch of green that is probably like 5 feet in diameter, a circle that draws your attention enough to stop your forward momentum. You sort of arc to the right, and you see this circle of grass. There's no snow here, and if you are brave enough to jump inside of it, it is slightly warmer in that area, as if it is warm enough to melt any snow that lands here.
As soon as she noticed something different, she just started hollering whatever's at the top of her mind. So it'll be green, 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 grass, 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 warm, 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 to your left. And then, yeah, of course, she's going to jump inside of it. It's
Perfect.
cool. And she's jumping up and down.
Yeah, you jump inside of it, and it feels like a warm spring day inside this circle. The grass crunches under your feet like it would be on like a spring grass. It is full grass, like it has not died under the cold frost of winter. And you are jumping up and down. It is solid ground. It is solid, not like you're jumping up onto some weird portal or something. You're jumping up on solid ground. It's crunching beneath your feet, and you feel you actually, because of all the running and biking and jumping now, you start to sweat because you're in winter clothes, and it becomes increasingly warm in this area. You all hear this green, 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 grass, 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 warm, 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 from deeper within the forest. How do you all respond?
We'll
Follow
head
Dee.
that way. Yeah, we'll follow her.
Okay. Dee Dee, as your pit crew makes their way to you, are you doing anything other than jumping up and down inside this strange grass?
Well, her pit crew is approaching. She needs to have some work done on her engine. She lays down on the grass on her back in, spread eagle, like snow angel style, and looks up at the spring sky.
Perfect. You look up at a white overcast sky. You can see as if it were like it's still winter all around you, and you can see snow falling, and then it just never reaches you. So for whatever reason, there's some sort of field of warmth here that the snow evaporates. You can see it falling all around you and still make its way to the ground, but however high up it is, it stops and just melts to nothing. And evaporates fully. By the time you all get there, you see her spread eagle a star in the center of a lush green circle in the middle of a forest surrounded by snow.
How big is it?
It's about 5 feet in diameter, so wide enough for any of you to starfish in. And I think only Rossi, I think, is the tallest one, to reach the other sides.
What is this? She will walk up to it.
You walk up and you feel like once you get like to the edge, you feel the warmth sort of like radiating off of it. And if you like stick your hand in, it's warm in there.
Feels like summer in here.
Dee Dee points up at the sky where the snow is melting.
Huh.
Well, that's the least strange thing we've seen in a while.
Dee Dee, since you're laying on the ground, you have had enough time to realize that it is warmest at the ground.
It's warm down here.
She's gonna kneel down and like lean her hand onto the grass.
Yeah, it's
Take
like
off her mitt. And put
it's
her
like
hand-
it's that same kind of sensation of like when you're filling a tub, the backside of the tub is the coldest, and then you get to where the faucet is, and that's the warmest. So as you kind of put your hand down, it gets increasingly warm when you're down to where Dee Dee is. It's still a reasonable temperature. It's probably like 65 degrees where Dee Dee is, but comparable to the 30 degrees it is outside right now. You can feel that warmth a lot.
Dee Dee holds
Is
her
this-
goggles and pulls her hat off, and her hair is slicked back, wet with sweat, and she throws it, and it hits Jojo in the face.
Thanks. Is this the spot we're looking for, Rossi? And he puts the wet beanie in his pocket.
I don't know. 41 north. What is it?
71
looking back.
west.
71 west. That's not enough grid coordinates to make it an accurate guess like that.
Well,
So it could be.
Those coordinates are just a general area, and that's about it.
That's
Well,
true.
it's definitely-
I thought maps were more accurate than that.
They are, if you have enough numbers.
That is also true.
Hey, do you think there's a tunnel under here, like those other tunnels that we were in? And maybe he's down there in the tunnels. And maybe if we look around in the trees and stuff, we might be able to find the opening, you know?
Yeah, maybe. She's gonna lean her head down and she's gonna put her ear against the ground to see if she can hear anything.
Roll me investigate.
I will do that. 2 successes. For Fish.
You press your head into the ground near Dee Dee. And again, you also have that same sensation. As you're pressing it in, the further you lean into the grass, it gets warmer and warmer. And you feel that whatever the source of heat is radiating upward from the ground. You don't hear anything, but all that tells you is it's probably more than whatever could be doing this is probably more than a foot deep.
Okay. So there's no like electrical humming, like a pulsing of like some kind of mechanical.
Not that you can hear from this depth of where you are.
Okay.
If there is something in here, you'd have to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just the vibration of Dee Dee's energy being
Yeah.
contained and having to stand still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Should
All
we
right.
look around, Fish? Should we look around?
Yeah, maybe she looks at Dee Dee. You're good at climbing. She points to you. Maybe we can get an elevated view. If you can climb up, maybe you can see more spots.
Before she's done, Dee Dee is up and climbing a tree.
You climb it, and you can go ahead and roll me investigation.
All right, we'll try it.
Tell us if you see anything.
No successes.
No,
We're
you
gonna
climb up as high as you can reasonably get to, and you again look out at the trees. For the most part, you're still seeing trees, like you're not above the tree line, and everything is so dense with the snow that it becomes hard to see. But you don't see any other from where you are. You don't see any other warm spots or anything else sticking out of the forest above where you are.
Can Dee Dee pull her goggles down and use her goggles?
Yeah. So you're trying to use your item?
Iconic item?
Yeah. So just go ahead and roll me 2 extra dice, 2 extra d6s.
No.
Nope.
was terrible.
Unfortunately, what happens is you took your hat off and you pull your goggles down, but all of the sweat from the top of your head has fogged your glasses, so you pull them down and you actually see less. And you try to wipe your eyes, but all the condensation's inside the glasses, so that doesn't help you whatsoever. Fish, you have your head craned to the side, listening to the ground. Jojo, Rossi, you see Dee Dee squirrel up the tree. What are the two of you doing?
I don't know. You think there's something buried under here?
That's the theory. I mean, it's warm from the ground.
Makes you want for a shovel.
Jojo looks in the into the trees and goes, "We got sticks. It's the closest thing you're gonna get." And he goes off looking for a digging stick.
Easy enough to find a digging stick. Anyone who's built a fort in the woods knows what a digging stick is. You find a good, like, 2-inch thick, 3-inch thick stick that has had that, like, it's been ripped off the tree, so it has that kind of, like, flat part that was still attached to the tree. You get that good digging stick, and you find one that you can, pretty sure, if this is soft earth, you should make short work of it.
That's for digging. So if it's warm, the ground's not going to be, in theory, not going to be frozen. So
That is correct.
she will get like a not like a digging stick, but like something that she could like scrape.
Yeah,
she'd be,
so
like, on her hands and
it
knees and-
turns out that building a fort in the woods is very difficult to do in California, and in the various cities that your father has had you stay in. So you haven't had a lot of experience with finding a good digging stick. So you find
there's no forts in trees in California.
Yeah. You don't live in Northern California where there's lots of forests. You live in like
I was in SoCal, so
yeah. There's cactuses and shit.
It's a weird time.
Yeah. So you find a stick that will assist you, but not as well as JoJo's digging stick. JoJo, if
I'm
you'd
helping
like
to turn the earth up.
Yeah. Something to like. It's like a stirring stick for a cauldron. JoJo.
This is how we did it in California.
It's all sand and asphalt. It's a concrete jungle. JoJo, you can roll me force with a bonus die of 1 for your improvised tool. And you can actually add a plus. We'll add a d6 to that for Fish's assistance.
Just the one.
Nope. Okay, cool. So 1 success. It doesn't take long. You make fairly short work of this as you begin to like jab this stick in there and just pull clods of dirt out of this thing. And you just haphazardly toss them into the snow ring around this. And you get a few inches deep. And you also begin to notice the deeper you're going, the warmer it is down there. It is degrees, like every inch is an extra degree of temperature as you begin digging this. After about, it probably takes you about 30 minutes to fully dig down into this. So in that time, what are the rest of you doing? As you see JoJo is sort of moving things around and Fish is sort of stirring like a forest witch to loosen some of the dirt and clay from the area. What are the rest of you doing?
Rossi a step back and just leaving them to it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he's like, okay, dig over these, like the foreman of the dig site.
The mafia foreman.
Yeah. She's like, don't you have people you can call for this, Rossi?
I don't got my phone with me, Fish.
At some point, Dee Dee just appears at their side and starts digging like a dog style, just like this.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
she's cool. She's got dirt everywhere. It's great.
Perfect. Full, like, legs fully extended and just the dirt's going between the legs. Absolutely. Head first in the hole. You all collectively dig while being foremaned by Rossi. And JoJo, eventually you hit something hard and there's like a hollow, like, gunk as you hit something.
He looks.
He's going to aim to clear as much of it as he can.
Okay.
He's going, got something. Don't know what it is, but it's not dirt, and he just clears as much as he can.
You begin clear, like you like find the edge of whatever this thing is, and it is probably about 2 feet long, and maybe like 8 or 9 inches wide. And you begin to like dig down around the edges, and you find what is almost like a pill shape. If you imagine like a pill with the sides flattened, like the rounded parts of the ends flattened. So it is like this cylindrical device that you see here that is made of metal, not like patchwork metal, it is fabricated. And you can see that there is a single red light on it that is flashing in a pattern.
All right, Dee Dee. The light looks like the noise. What does that mean?
Does
Dee Dee,
the
without
light-
having to roll, you look down and the light is the noise. It is flashing in the same pattern. Your best guess is this is what is sending out the Morse code.
Yeah, so she just chants those numbers and letters again.
That's what it was before. What is it saying now?
It's the same thing. Does the cylinder have anything other than the red?
Do you
Flashing
take it
light?
out fully out of the ground?
Jojo?
Unless anyone tells Jojo he's going to be dubious about doing so.
Dee Dee will, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, fish.
So I imagine Dee Dee grabs the side of it and just begins pulling it out to where Fish jumps in and grabs the other side.
Is it hot?
It is warm. It's not like gonna scald you. But it is. You're sure that either this is the thing or it's on the thing generating the heat.
Okay. Jackpot.
So you pull this thing out of the earth, and you can see that there is on one of the sides of this, essentially like the cylindrical side, there is some sort of like rectangular door sort of cut into it. And inside that rectangular door, there is a small, maybe 1 inch by 3 inch rectangular like glass, like a window, like a viewing window. Anyone? Actually, you know what? Not anyone. Rossi. Because you cover local events, especially school events, this immediately reminds you of a time capsule. One you would bury to commemorate the year of whatever, a graduation, a bicentennial of the town, something like that. This looks like a time capsule.
Rossi just kind of scratches his head. Is like a time capsule? Why would there be one buried out here?
How heavy was it?
It's probably like 20 pounds.
Okay.
Rossi's gonna walk up and he's gonna look for where he could look for an opening.
Yeah, you look at the rectangular like patch on there, and you can see there are two like release levers, like almost like a briefcase that like you pull the button and the latch opens. So you like depress these two buttons and a latch opens, and then you can hear the thing kind of open a little bit, and you can just pull the lever. It has two of those suspension levers that are like inside of a trunk.
Rossi slowly but methodically opens it up.
You open this thing up, and it smells dusty and old. And you see inside of this, as I pull up the correct document, you see inside of this is a cassette tape, like a tape deck tape, a weathered map, a strange two-pronged key, as in like normally a key is just one piece. This is two pieces with like a slit down the center. And who among you is the most engineering tech based of you? Would know the most about technology?
Oh, technology.
Edie's a tinkerer.
A tinkerer, great. Roll me tinker.
One success.
Dee Dee, your obsession with taking things apart and sometimes putting them back together, combined with your obsession with television, you recognize as you look over his shoulder, there are 3 cathode ray tubes.
Hey, these go in a TV. We should take them back.
Well, that's convenient.
And can she pick one out?
Yeah, you can
Like-
you can take all the things out.
You know, she'll
They're just
look at
loose
it.
in there.
She'll look.
Rossi picks up the key in the map.
Okay. Fish, you take out the cathode ray tube, and if you've never seen one, they kind of look like almost like a triangle at the back end, with like a flat side, and it kind of triangles down into a tube that ends in like a bulb. It plugs into something, and sort of it has like stuff inside of it. It has science inside of it that like you would have no context for what it is.
No.
But it's what projects the images onto TVs, among other things.
She'll look to Dee Dee. Would these fit in our TV?
I think so, and maybe we could try them, but also there's a map, so maybe we should go there, and maybe there's a place there that we have to get inside, and that's why there's a key.
And she will take the cassette. It's a cassette as in like an like audio, right? Not VHS.
Yeah, like an A track, B track cassette.
Rossi, what's the map?
Rossi is opening the map as she asks.
Rossi, you open this map, and it is written on the back of blueprint paper. So one side is blue, and the other side is like a tan sepia. And on the blue side, it has a border, a white border, and then white grids as well. But you see property of U.S. Department of Research and Travel, whatever the DART thing is. I forget off the top of my head.
Technology.
Research and technology, thank you. So at one point, this piece of paper belonged to the loop. On the back side of it, however, the sepia side, you see a hand-drawn map. And I will say, based on your success of map reading before, you're fairly confident that this map is depicting a location in this forest. The dimensions are wrong, and like the distances are wrong. But you do see like the lake. You see like the main road, so you can kind of like position where like sequentially this place is. And it is detailing directions to a final location. What that location is, you're not entirely sure.
Rossi's going to pick up his normal map and start cross-referencing.
Okay. You cross-reference with your map and the information you have. It is deeper into the forest, and you see as you sort of follow the sequence of like where this map is pointing you. You do see etched into it is the letters A and C, as like that's the circled final location.
Well, we could either go back and with the cathode ray tubes and deal with the TV, or we can continue forward to where this map leads.
Is it close to us?
You have no way of knowing like what the distance is. It's a hand-drawn map.
The distance isn't precise, but it's supposedly still in this forest.
The mill's boring. Let's
Closer
go
than-
forward.
It's closer than the mill.
Yeah, I agree. And she's gonna look at Jojo and she has the tape in her hand, and she's gonna stand next, like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm right.
She looks at him like she doesn't believe him.
That's all he says.
Okay.
Those
And then
cathodes might be safer in the capsule if you just want to carry that with us.
And then as they're doing that, she'll hand the cathode back to Rossi, and she's gonna hold up the tape so Jojo can also see it, and she's gonna look at it, like, what does it look like?
A cassette tape.
Is it labeled?
Nope.
Oh, okay, so
I mean, you
looks
see like the stock like A side, B side, but there's no that white sticker you normally put across to write like Summer Jams Mix 82. There's nothing written on there.
Okay. Is it all one to one side? Like, is it one side completely to the beginning?
Yes.
Okay. And she's like, maybe there's a recording on here. And she
Guess we'll find out later.
Yep.
Rossi starts walking in the general direction he believes this next location is.
Dee Dee, roll me Tinker.
Yeah, I will. 1 success.
Great. As you see Fish kind of waving this around, you know that there's a difference between a commercial cassette that you buy in the store that has like music on it, and one you buy in the store to record things on. When you record it, there's like a little punch that happens, and you see that this is a personal recording, as in this has been punched, as in someone recorded something on this.
Oh, look, see, it's already used. And she points at it, at the little punch, that little square hole.
Yeah. We need to find something to listen to it.
Test.
Secrets. And she's gonna put it in her pocket.
Secrets are boring. and Dee Dee
Not
runs
around
after
here.
Rusty.
Not around here. Glenbrook is weird. No. Yes.
It's true. So you guys begin wandering into the forest in hopes to find this. Rossi, I will take a comprehend from you. If someone wants to help this role, explain to me how you'll help.
Is this for the map?
This is to navigate to wherever this AC location is.
Dee Dee will help by she's going to be doing like loops around them, like in figure eights. So she's looking
Okay.
all around as they're moving.
Okay, so you're scouting and just sort of bombarding Rossi with information to help
Oh,
him
yeah.
navigate. I love that.
A lot of useless information, but maybe there's something good in there.
Yeah.
Can I use my knowledge of being here before and like circumnavigating the lake?
Yeah. I'll say you did take the long way around. You didn't teleport through a weird lake. Yeah, you can do that. So Rossi, I will take a comprehend with 2 bonus die.
I didn't get my shoes wet.
That's true.
That's 3 successes.
3 successes. Hot damn. Cool. So you navigate through this. Man, I want to give you a bonus for 3 successes. Let me see here. Let me see what else can comprehend be used for. One second. Somebody made a really cool cheat sheet for all this. Let me open this.
And when you say the map's labeled AC, as in like the 2 letters side by side, AC.
Correct. Yeah, like a X marks the spot treasure map. AC is the final. Is like there's like a line and it says AC with a circle on it.
Okay.
Kind of depicting like go here. Let's see. Comprehend. +1 die when using the information. Okay, cool. So I will say 1 success gets you to the destination, and you have +1. You have 2 +1 die forward when it comes to using this information. So like navigating this area, or walking your way back, anything like that. Anything around comprehending maps, you have a +1 for any of those or locations. Okay. So yeah, you guys navigate through. Dee Dee, you are zigzagging back and forth. Fish, you're trying to do your best to like remember where you were, and like you didn't see a place in your travels, so you're trying to kind of piece that information together with this vague map. And eventually, after about an hour of trekking deeper and deeper into the forest, despite the fact that the sun is up behind this overcast sky, you are getting deeper in snow-covered pines. As you walk, you eventually see a small, the clearing is small, in that there's a small area of trees cut away, but trees back whatever it is you're looking at. And what you're looking at is a cabin. There is a cabin, like a hunting cabin here. A small awning over the door. The cabin is not lit. It is frost covered, and it looks like it has been in disuse for decades.
Well, that's like a horror movie.
Haven't we already been involved in several horror-looking things before?
Well, I'm sure Elliot would know the probability of some kind of scary trope about to happen to us, but
Well, if it was Elliot, he'd probably have a cassette player on him too, so we could listen to the cassette.
that'd be handy. She's gonna approach the thing. You're muted. You're muted.
You muted.
God damn it. I think one of you actually has an iconic item that is the cassette player. Yeah,
I don't
you-
think it's any of us.
I think it might
No.
be Elliot. It might
I
be
think
Elliot.
it's Elliot.
Was this? I don't
Either
know.
it's
Ellie
Profo's
had one.
character. I forget what his.
No, his
character name
iconic
is.
item is like his bike. You head towards this. Is anyone moving with Fish? Or has everyone sort of stopped and just let her go? Okay. So at a minimum, Jojo and Dee Dee are following behind. Fish, as you creep.
She looks back, goes, "Come on, Rossi."
Rossi was just taking in the maps so because he's plotting his way back.
Yeah, when he has to escape the horror. You guys all move, you plod forward through this area. And Fish, as you get here, you can see the windows are dingy yellow. Everything is dust covered. You see like the awning that you could see from a distance is like broken, a little bit dilapidated underneath like the weight of seasons worth of snow. The whole place looks like it was probably a nice. It's not a hunting place here, so it makes little sense to have a small hunting cabin in this area. It makes little sense to have a cabin at all. You're an hour and a half from town. But there it is. And as you look inside, everything that you see in here is dated. At least like 60s at the earliest.
Ancient.
Yeah, exactly.
Ancient
lot of strange patterns and ugly colors. It's very gauche interior. There are no noticeable animal remains, as would be befitting of a hunting cabin. But you do see that there is a carpet rolled up, like not like rolled neatly, but like haphazardly tossed, and a door leading to a basement, like a trap door.
She's got her face against the window. It's like,
Yep.
there's a trap door down there. It's got like a basement or something.
He told you that's why you bring lights.
Yeah, good idea. You're the smart one. See, imagine how smarter you would be if you did your homework. And she's gonna test the doorknob.
You approach the door, and you see that like as soon as you go to like reach for it, you notice that there is not a doorknob. The entire door is made to look like wood, and now that you are inches from it, you see that the door is clearly metal. And where like the doorknob plate would go, there is only a keyhole.
This is a fancy door for such a rustic looking cabin. And she's gonna like run her finger over the keyhole and like, "Hey, we found a key. Rossi, see if it fits in here."
Jojo kicks one of the walls. Are they like, because this cabin's old and dilapidated.
Mhm.
So you would expect your foot to go through like a rotten bit of wall. It's not like a full-on kick, it's like a toe punt. Like, does anything come off or is it solid?
It's solid. It feels like you just kicked a log, as it is a log cabin.
A bit more
Not a
solid than I would
plywood
expect
cabin.
it to be.
It's not a drywall cabin.
Not a paper cabin.
It's not a
Rossi,
hay
try the
cabin.
key.
3 little pigs. It's just yeah,
Is it
it does feel like a solid wall.
It's one story, correct? At least on
Yes.
there's no
Yep.
second story. Okay. And is there anything in the lore of the Dreaming Lake that talks anything about some kind of cabin?
No. There is not.
And it's
Yes,
locked
yes,
in?
Fish, I'm coming. Rossi pulls. Does this keyhole look like it would fit the two-pronged key?
It does, strangely enough.
She kind of eyes Rossi a little bit, and why would
Fish,
they?
don't you feel like this is too convenient?
I'm just wondering why they would. How far did we walk?
An hour past the circle.
Jesus. Okay. Why would they bury the key and a bunch of other stuff? Like, why wouldn't the person just keep these items with them? You know what I mean?
I mean, they wanted someone to find it. Or they didn't want someone to find it, which is why they hid it. But then they put a map which brought you here. So having the key in the map that brings you here kind of makes sense. But
Yeah. Like
Or maybe they wanted
Morse-
maybe they wanted to find it later,
Yeah, the
many
Morse code
years down
brought
the
us-
road.
Yeah, the Morse code brought us to the time capsule. The time
Rossi inserts the key.
here.
It slides in, and you can turn it.
Twist.
You twist, and you feel the key sort of like lock into place. and you know that you know instinctively that the only way to remove this is to put it back the other direction. But as you turn it, you hear like several mechanisms click into place, and you can use the key as the knob. There's no way to get the key out from inside. So you can either re-bolt it, like you can open the door, re-bolt it, and leave the door ajar, or you can bolt it from the outside, or you can leave the key in as you are inside. Those are your options.
Rossi pulls on the key just enough to get the a space where he can move his hands to open it the rest of the way.
Okay. You do so. You see this thing creaks open as you pull on it, and you're like two-hand pulling on this this key to open the door.
He's not pulling on the key. He's waiting for the gap to put his hands in the gap and open.
Oh, okay, cool. So you pull on the key to get the gap, and you get both hands in there and pull this thing out. This is a heavy door.
We'll push, and it looks obviously newer and more modern than the cabin itself.
Nope.
No?
Nope. There's a little bit of rust on the door. It's painted to look like wood to match the cabin.
Okay, so it's like I'm probably not gonna get it, but it's like a kind of like a cast iron door.
Yeah, it's like a big old metal door.
But not like a metal door that we would see like at school.
Nope. No, like a solid metal door.
Okay.
Yeah, those doors at school are like aluminum and usually hollow.
Yeah.
This is a solid, heavy metal door.
Weird.
Like you'd put on a safe.
Jesus. Okay.
Oh, shit.
She'll help push it open.
Okay. The two of you sort of grab onto this and pull this door open, and you smell a dank cabin. Not the fun kind of dank. Again, it looks like 60s kind of interior. There's no electricity in here. You do see there are a number of like oil lanterns, not oil lanterns, but kerosene lanterns hanging in various places. One's on the circular kitchen table. The kitchen table has like two chairs that are what the hell is it called? That like plastic seat cushion and plastic backing that you now kind of see in diners. A lot of checkered board patterns in here and a lot of stripes, very contrasting shape lines here. And again, the carpet is sort of tossed over and you see that there is a trapdoor. The trapdoor is closed, but you see that there is one. And everything has a thick layer of dust.
Is there dust on top of the carpet where it's rolled? So as if the carpet's been rolled and left rolled.
Everything in here looks like it hasn't been touched for decades.
Other than the tossed rug, is there any other signs that a person or an individual has been here?
No.
Like, okay, there's no like cups or a plate with cutlery or.
You'd have to look around, perhaps in the cabinets, but you can look right where you open the door. There's no like footprint through the dust. It's a thick layer of dust everywhere on the floor, the tables, any surface.
Okay. She's gonna move in.
Okay. Everyone else?
Rossi's going to wait a second to see if Fish's first step causes a massive cloud of dust to just blow up.
There is a little bit of dust that moves around as you are the first person in here, but not like a huge plume of dust, not like a vacuum cleaner has just sort of gone off, blowing dust everywhere. You walk in, and the floorboards do creak a little bit underneath your weight, and you look around, and everything about this place has the furnishings of a cabin in the woods. Everything matches that aesthetic. You see that there is a stone fireplace. There's a large, like, what you imagine to be very plush armchair, sort of by the fire. You see that lone kitchen table with the two chairs. The kitchen sort of goes from like runner carpets to a linoleum over the hardwood kitchen. And there is an island that sort of juts out with like two columns that hold up a cabinet that you can access from inside. And you see that there is cabinetry, a kitchen sink, and a small stove, no oven. 2 burners.
I imagine like the 3 big kids were like huddled around this door and talking and deciding, and Dee Dee has been like trying to peer through their legs and around their shoulders and try
Yeah.
to see what's going on. As soon as Fish went inside, then Dee Dee would take that opening and slide in behind Fish, and then she would just like walk right over the trap door and say, "We should go down there," and then go right into the kitchen and start digging around trying to find cool shit.
You look at the trap door. How long do you spend looking at the trap door?
She does not investigate it. She just looks at it.
Okay. There is a trap door, and you immediately walk around and start investigating the kitchen. Rossi, that's when you see the dust, is when Dee Dee starts to like zigzag around. I can't imagine that, unless she's on a vehicle, that she goes in a straight line anywhere. So dust kind of trails Pigpen style behind Dee Dee as you get to the kitchen. Are you opening drawers and cabinets in the kitchen, Dee Dee?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Roll me an investigation.
Meanwhile, Rossi just turns to Jojo like, "Hey, Jojo, you feel like moving? A little bit of
No
cleaning."
successes.
Okay. You rummage through the kitchen. Everything seems to be intuitively where it should be, right? Like you walk up, like in that cabinet, that drawer between the sink and the stove, and you open that one, and that's where there is cutlery. But there's like 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 knives. Like it's in small increments. You kind of close that one. You turn around. You open the above. Like you kind of climb up on the counter, open the above. That's where the plates and cups are, right? Everything is where you would think it would be if like you were to like place things. Like it's kind of where it would be in your home, in that sort of everyone knows where to look for the cups kind of way. And you find just regular things in the house, and then you open the furthest drawer away from the stove, and the only thing inside of this is a large rectangular black and silver tape deck with a double-pronged cable plugged into it, ending in a small tripoded microphone, and you just see Norelco written along the backside of it.
She pocketed one of the knives. Was there a set of matches to light the stove?
Yeah, sure, there would be.
Yeah, so she pockets that too. And then she pulls out the recorder and brings that back and presents it to Fish.
Okay, you have a recorder, a cassette recorder.
It up, and she's gonna go to the table and put it down and pull out the tape.
Okay. You pull out the tape. There's actually no like tray to close. It's just an empty socket where you would put a tape in. And you can see like it's meant to be like, if you ever seen like a 60s or 70s like cop show, it's kind of one where they record like an interview. Exactly what it looks like. So you see like the microphone is trailing behind Dee Dee, the long ass microphone cable. You put this in there. Do you hit play?
Well, first she's gonna be like, "Jojo, Rossi, look, we're gonna come listen to what it says. You're gonna come in or what?"
Jojo would have been looking at the trapdoor.
Okay. Jojo, you in this time, you look at the trapdoor and you note there is a you presume to be identical key, like keyhole as there was outside the door. Only one key. If it's the same one, you're going to have to figure out a way to take that key out of that door. Rossi, are you still at the entrance, or do you come in when Fish calls?
Rossi's still at the entrance.
Okay. Fish, you press play on this thing, and there is a bit of static, followed by a loud shuffling and scratching sound, as if someone were like rubbing the microphone, or as if the microphone were being covered by something.
And she cranks the volume.
And then you hear an excited, or presumably excited male voice, distant from the microphone, and then far closer, you begin to hear a woman's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, this is madness. We're tampering with forces we barely understand. The temporal ripples could... Nonsense, Helena. This is our chance to leap forward in a scientific discovery. Imagine controlling time? But the anomalies in Grenbrook, the disappearing objects, the echoes, it's too dangerous. A small price for progress. The Aeon Conductor will stabilize everything. You'll see. I hope you're right, Eric. For all our sakes. That cuts, and you hear almost a full minute of dead air, followed by static, and then you hear the woman's voice again. If you're hearing this message, it means that the device is activated. Despite my best efforts to keep it dormant, I hope it's not too late. My name is Dr. Helena Moss, and I was part of the Loop's Project Kronos. We thought we could control time, but we were wrong. The experiment has gone awry, creating ripples affecting Glenbrook's reality. You must find the heart of the anomaly, a device we call the Aeon Conductor. Please deactivate it before the echoes from the past consume our present. Be brave, and good luck. Dead air follows, and eventually the tape sputters out.
Holy shit.
And then they just hid all the stuff in the ground and so no one would find it. But then they tell you to go and find it. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, does it?
Rossi, you're a newsy and or possibly conspiracy. Roll me comprehend. And Fish, if you think you would be conspiratorial enough to roll comprehend, you can do so.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okay, spend that luck, re-roll.
Big into conspiracy.
That's one success.
I'm gonna spend a luck and re-roll. No, damn it.
Rossi, one success. You've covered enough stories, and you've read weird stories and comics, and you've seen news things. You hear what JoJo's saying, and then you kind of start to agree with it. And then just a modicum of that, like, conspiracy newsman sort of just peeks through the back of your mind. The time capsule matches, your best guess, the time frame of this cabin. And if no one's been in this cabin for a long time, perhaps the time capsule was buried as a failsafe in case the device ever activated.
Actually, hold on. Maybe it's a failsafe. Say, what was that device they said on the plane? It was a bit garbled.
A Aeon Conductor? What's that?
I'm gonna pretend I didn't know what that is, but say the warning is that if we have to deactivate it, whatever, they hope they don't activate it. If the time capsule turned on, whatever it is must be turning on then.
And when the time capsule turned on, it sent out a message, and then our TV received it, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Do you think it's down that, pointing at the trap door?
Yeah, but to get that open, we need the key from the door. You got the key?
It's in the door.
Just gotta have to lock the door with it open, that's all. Just relock it with it open and take it out.
Jojo will go and try and do that. With the door open, lock it.
Yep, you lock the door, you see all the bolt mechanisms, which there are like 7 of them, just open or like pull out of the door. You have the key, and when you walk in, the door will slowly close and be ajar because of all the deadbolts are essentially holding the door open. But you have the key in hand, an unlockable door, and you have a trap door before you.
He's going to unlock the trapdoor.
Okay. As soon as you lean down towards the trapdoor, you kind of like place one hand on it and get ready to put the key in. You can feel the door, the trap door is fluctuating between warm and cold with your hand that's on there.
Before he unlocks it, he goes, dudes, feel the door. And he like puts his hand in the middle.
He's going to put his hand on the door, wondering what JoJo's talking about.
Yep, you all feel it. The door fluctuates every couple seconds between warm and cold.
Is it vibrating at all?
It's not vibrating. It's just sort of like it slowly like increases to warm and then decreases down to cold. you're not sure how many degrees, but it is, noticeably warm and noticeably cold, and you can feel it like degrade between it. It's not like hot, cold. It slowly goes down like a wave.
Okay.
Like it's moving between seasons, and he unlocks it.
You unlock this thing, and roll me force.
Can I help?
Yeah, you can help. Anyone can help. Anyone who wants to can help.
1 success.
Great.
You need more.
That is all you needed. It is just in the ground, so it's a lot more of an effort to lift this thing out than it is to open a regular door. But you grab this thing, you kind of walk around towards the hinge side, hold onto the key, and you pull this thing up. And you see the same thing, those 7 deadbolts that run across. The door is objectively identical. And as soon as you open this, as you pull from the opposite side, actually not needing any help from your companions, Jojo, you are the last to see this. Rossi and Fish, since you are standing at the door, Dee Dee, where are you? She
is in the kitchen lighting matches.
Great. So Jojo, behind you, you hear of a match lighting, and I assume, as it goes out. So Dee Dee, you don't see this at all. Rossi and Fish, you see, like, almost as if you're looking through, like, a spectrogram, you see waves. You can presume it's what was causing the hot-cold fluctuation. But you see, like, this, like, burnt yellow-orange sort of, like, pass through you, quickly followed by, like, a deep blue-purple again, and then it just repeats in that cycle. Something is emanating waves of energy out of this basement. Jojo, you are shielded by a solid steel door, but you can see it spreading out like a cone out of this place.
I think we just got irradiated. Is this? Did we just get nuked?
Or superpowers.
Yeah.
Jojo stays behind the door.
Don't
Good
worry,
call.
just get under a desk. That's all you need to do to protect yourself from nuclear power.
Yeah. Flash.
Yeah. Yeah. And sorry, other than the waves, what else is down there?
A dark staircase that leads down into a basement.
She
No
takes
lights.
out. She takes out one of the lanterns that Jojo said they should bring and shines it down.
Do you have lanterns? Or are you using one of the lanterns in the house?
We brought some.
We brought
Okay.
them from the hideout. Yeah.
Are they battery-powered lanterns?
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, you click it on, and you shine this lantern down, this camping lantern down there, and it illuminates a small patch. You see a equally dust-covered staircase, and you can hear, as you sort of lean in, the whirring of machines in the basement. Do you descend? Fish, this immediately gives you flashbacks of descending through whatever it was you descended through in Danny's house. There's that feeling of like you seem to be moving slower as you walk down into this place, and the entire basement is a cement foundation. You see a like an aluminum desk, like a metal desk, with a small like desk, like one of those like curved desk lamps on top of it, and ancient like yellowed paper that's barely readable. Drawers are open. There's a little bit of dishevelment in here that has been here for at least a decade, if not longer. And you see in one corner a large like server, like huge server. And on the other corner, seemingly an identical server, and then something between them that looks vaguely like the shape of the time machine, in that it's kind of like capsule based, except it's probably like 2.5, 3 feet tall, and it's off the ground, like mounted on something. And then you see a ribbon of cables go from one end into the server, and then from the other end into the other server. The lights are lighting up on the server. They're doing something. What it is, you're not entirely sure. And you see those waves exiting from the like bolt plates. Anywhere that there was seams on this whatever a cylindrical device is just it's seeping out of that.
Does this server and the cables and shit like that, does it look like the stuff we ran into at the house when we followed the truck with Rossi? Elliot?
Roll me. I want to say Tinker.
To add to G's question, does it look
Yes.
anything like the stuff that was in O'Rourke's basement?
Mhm.
Not O'Rourke's, in the when they were redoing everything. Does it
roll
look like
me.
either of those guys?
Roll me comprehend. Anyone who wants to can roll. Anyone who's seen either of those two things can roll me comprehend.
1 success.
Okay.
Dee
Fish.
Dee saw something beneath the Radio Shack with
Yep.
servers and stuff. Is that
Yep.
what you're referring to?
Yep, you can roll for that. You can roll
The only
comprehend for that.
server thing I can recall that Rossi has seen was the one with the bowling alley and the video games.
Yes, that is not what we're talking about. One was where they all turn invisible, and the other one was where was the
I was
Winter
part of
Whispers.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
that
great.
stuff Rossi saw that too.
Great. So you can roll comprehend.
That's fine.
Cool. So Rossi and Fish. It is similar in the sense that they are servers and these are cables. You know that what you were seeing before were like coaxial cables. So they're like the ones you kind of put in the back of a TV, but like thicker. They're like power line kind of cables. You also know that they're similar in that it's servers and cables, that what you were seeing in the basement, or at least Dee, what you were seeing in the basement was like the 1980s version of Cat 5 or Cat 4. That sort of like Ethernet kind of cable was what you saw, and copper wire spools. This is somehow different. Dee, for whatever reason, Perhaps the remote was lost in the house, and you just got stuck on whatever learning network show was on. You think that whatever these are a currently fairly experimental type of cabling, and if this cabin is as old as it seems to be, it would be very experimental, barely a thought at that time. These seem to be like fiber optics.
Yeah, so Dee starts to ramble about fiber optics and all the details of fiber optics, which Melissa Meyer has no idea about, and points that out to everyone.
Yeah, you basically rattle on that like they are cables that send information via light through the cable, as opposed to through copper, like most cables currently do. Some sort of, some sort of like photography based, rays send information via the light through this thing into the main chamber and out, it seems, or maybe they're both sending it in, and that's what's causing the explosions. Whatever it is, none of that
But
really
it's
makes
light.
a lot of
It's
sense.
light. It's not electricity. It's light. It's just amazing.
Most of that doesn't make sense to most of you.
Well, no, it's used to transmit huge chunks of data, Fish says. And
Oh yes, very fast, far faster than could be done otherwise.
Can you remind me, Mike, where we saw that before?
You've never seen fiber optics before.
No, but something came up in a previous session about something, the cables used to transmit huge amounts of data. Like I've heard this before.
You heard that in the Who Goes There episode? The one you were referencing with the garage, except what you were seeing were like huge coaxial cables, which is what they would use in the 80s to transmit that much data. Fiber optics is what we use now. So this technology is well above the technology level of where we are in the 80s. And exceptionally high for where we were in the 70s or 60s.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is like the lady you saw with the house you broke into. This is the kind of cable she would dream to have to do whatever the hell she was doing.
Yeah. I don't think that's it, but sure. I can't think of what else it could be. Um, so it looks kind of unstable-ish.
Yep.
Um, are there any buttons on these consoles?
There aren't actually consoles. This is a server cabinet, so you
Servers,
can
sorry,
so you
servers,
can
yeah.
it has a small key, but it's like a lockbox kind of key. So with the proper amount of force, you can just wrench the cabinet open. And there are servers with various cables plugged into them that you assume bundle together to go on one side and then bundle together to go on the other side.
Right.
And that's all that's in here is the server cabinet with the cables?
And a desk that has disheveled, like the drawers are open. There's paper sort of scattered. It looks like whoever was here last sort of left in a hurry.
Hmm. Is there any papers?
There are papers,
Of note.
but not of note. Most of them are either like technical graphs that like have no reference with you unless you have more information. But you do note that all of them say project. So Department of Research and Technology, Project Kronos. They'll have like team letterhead.
Right. And the message on the tape said we have to try and stop it if it's gone out of control.
Essentially, it said, if you're hearing this message, it means that the device has activated despite my efforts to keep it dormant. I hope it's not too late. My name is Dr. Helena Moss, and I was part of the Loop's Project Kronos. We thought we could control time, but we were wrong. The experiment has gone awry, creating ripples affecting Glenbrook's reality. You must find the heart of the anomaly, a device we call the Aeon Conductor. Please deactivate it before the echoes from the past consume our present. Be brave and good luck.
So the cables are coming in from a wall somewhere into the server, and then they're headed out from the server into another wall.
As far as you know, no. The servers are abutting the corner.
Okay.
And you don't see any cable. Like, you can kind of peek behind and use the lantern. You don't see cables going anywhere except from the cabinet to the device, and then from the device to the other cabinet.
Oh, there's a device there.
That's
Okay,
the big
and-
cylindrical device thing.
And she's going to point, I think that's the Aeon Conductor. If I was going to name something an Aeon Conductor, it would be that.
Does anyone have any fireworks?
No. Why?
That is what worked last time.
Just hit some buttons, fish. Hit some buttons.
She looks at the server. And I'm sorry, Mike. Are there buttons to press on the server?
There are, like, if you like reach behind the servers, there are like on-off switches, and there's also the jacks where you can unplug the cables.
Frosty, having brought the time capsule along, he's gonna look at this and he's gonna pull out one of the cathodes. And he's gonna see. He's like, "Is there?" Ask Dee Dee, "Is there a spot to put these in?"
Mike, is there a spot to put those in?
Yeah, Dee Dee, you know enough about cathode rays and other weird things that you start looking. As soon as he asks you that, you start looking, having taken apart enough things that use cathode rays. You begin looking in the servers. You see in outlets that a cathode would sort of hinge into, creating the rays to send out. There are what look to be makeshift cathode ray tubes.
And so maybe they're burned out or they're not working or something?
It looks like the ones you had were properly manufactured, and these ones look distinctly different.
Well, we could put them in here if we take these things out, but I don't know if that's going to help or it's going to hurt, because it should work better if we replace it with working ones. But maybe the servers help keep it suppressed?
Well, it doesn't really seem to be doing a good job.
We can only find out if we try. Rossi is going to go up to these old rays and try to pull one.
Fantastic. Rossi, you place the canister down. you reach inside and you sort of grab onto this bulbous tube and you begin to like wiggle it back and forth to get it out of its seat. And it begins to slowly, like a fraction of an inch by fraction of an inch, begins to wiggle loose. Anyone watching can see the light beams that are coming through from that server begin to like flicker and become like, somehow altered. And you see the rate at which the waves are coming changes. It'll be like that orangey wave, and then normally it was like a few seconds later the bluish wave, and now it's like orange, and then a lot longer the blue one, and then immediately the orange, and immediately the blue one. So whatever he's doing is changing the flow of whatever this thing does. Rossi, you begin to wiggle back and forth, and with like that like soft sort of that like rubber plunk, you unseat this cathode tube. You can pull this thing out, and you immediately see how it's different than the ones you've seen. This looks like it's got fractals in the glass, as if it were like hand blown glass, like shoddy like workmanship. You can see that like the angles aren't exactly correct as to what yours are in. Like if you hold them up side by side, one angle on that like triangle is steeper than the other one. It doesn't form that like right angle. So these look like they're hastily or amateur made. But you unplug it.
She did say in the tape she tried to. What's the term she used?
Keep it dormant.
Yeah, keep it dormant. So she may try. It looks like she tried to MacGyver something. Is MacGyver a thing this time?
It is. Rossi, you pull this thing out, and you can hear Fish talking. And as you hold this thing and turn towards her, you look around and you are in a black room that is made out of these strange, not clear, but like obsidian black bricks. You can see all of your friends in there. Dee Dee is no longer with you. And you see you are now facing a strange like makeup table with a mirror in it. And instead of the cathode ray in your hand, you are now holding a sliver of glass that is broken out of a mirror. And you slowly begin to see the crack in the mirror fill with your blood that you cut as you pulled the piece of glass out, re-solidifying the mirror. You can still hear this, like, as if they're talking underwater. Your friends are saying something, but as you look at them, it seems very slowed down, and they're like, pointing at it, and like making hand motions to leave, and you see them slow motion start to turn to leave a room that is absolutely not the cabin basement. You, however, in real time, see your blood sort of take the shape of whatever shard of glass you have in your hand, and then you see through that an eye appear, but no other face appears in the jet black mirror, and then you see it blink, and you see it squint towards you, and then you see a hand point, like as if it's tapping glass on another side. What do you do?
Rashi smashes the mirror.
You go to strike forward at the mirror, and as soon as you begin to move, everyone else, you see Rossi just punch air. A real hard punch air. And as soon as you complete that like throw of your fist, you just realize you're standing in the basement of the cabin holding the cathode ray tube, and you just like jabbed your fist out there, narrowly missing whoever was standing next to you.
Rossi is like heavy breathing all of a sudden.
What was that? What's wrong with you?
Damned mirror again.
What? The one from that creepy room?
Sorry about the swearing. Rossi tries to compose himself.
She puts her hand on his shoulder. Are you okay? You look...
Forget about it.
Oh.
Rossi is going to take the cathode ray, the new one, and try to plug it in. You're muted.
God damn it. You reach forward and sort of slot that in there, and again, you kind of have to wiggle it down into place. And the moment you seat that in there properly, again, your hand is still on this tube. You hear it plug in, and you feel the tube whir and like warm up as it starts to produce cathode rays. As it like, you are holding onto this thing, and you see again everything sort of melts around you as another one of these waves hits you, and you see yourself standing on Main Street. You can tell it's Main Street because the buildings all look relatively similar. Component Video is not there. It's a different name of a different place. The cars look different. The people are dressed differently. But they are. You're sure this is Main Street of Glenbrook. And everything seems slightly sepia as you do so. As you stand here. Cars whiz by you, not whiz by you, but they drive, 20 miles an hour by you down Main Street. And you see people talking and walking. It seems to be summer, except you're not feeling any heat or breeze or anything like that. And you see two people that each have swinging lanyards on their necks, similar to like what like loop personnel usually wear, talking hurriedly, discussing something, and you hear a mention of the Aeon conductor.
Who sees
Rossi.
this? Rossi? Okay.
And then the image fades, I guess?
Nope,
Or
you're still in it.
Rossi's going to take a step towards those two.
You do.
And he's going to get slowly behind them.
Okay.
And listen in closely.
You cross you're in the middle of the road, essentially. So you walk to the sidewalk and you catch up to them as slowly and as inconspicuously as possible. And you can hear them talking. And as far as you can tell, despite like the crackle and garble of a cassette tape, this appears to be whoever Eric and Helena Moss are. They look to be in their like early to mid 30s, discussing quite openly this Aeon conductor and their hopes for controlling the flow of time, enabling them to lengthen time and shorten time as needed to assist with the conduction of experiments, giving them a year's worth of work time in the shortness of a week. Imagine how far they could advance science if this could happen, or training of scientists, and you hear Eric respond with "or soldiers," discussing the pros and cons of lengthening and shortening time. And as you're focused on listening, you see someone sort of walk around them as if not to hit them in the path, and they walk around them like kind of like a wave, and they walk right back behind them, and they're walking straight towards you like they don't even see you. A random passerby on the street. What do you do?
Rossi sidesteps to try to keep up.
You sidestep to try to keep up, and as you do, you catch your foot on a piece of sidewalk, on like an errant stone there, or a crack in the sidewalk. And Jojo, Fish, and Dee Dee, you see Rossi, who was objectively standing still, just sort of fall to the side as if he tripped over something despite not moving. And he like lets go of the tube and sort of like falls to the side, facing what you guys are calling the Aeon conductor.
Still steady.
Dee Dee catches the tube.
Oh, it's still in there. He let go of it.
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh, I guess you know what? You catch the one he removed.
Are you okay? Fish looks really worried.
Rossi blinks as he's realized he's snapped back to reality, and he's kind of put two and two together now. And he just, two words come out of his mouth. Time slips.
Time slips what?
Each time you put a new ray in, something happens. It's like a crack in time.
But we're supposed to be fixing it. Are we not fixing it? we should replace the others?
You say that, and anyone who's looking at it sees the erratic nature of the lights that when he took out the first one has stabilized with the new one in.
Okay. Okay, quick, we got to replace the others before more weird stuff happens. Weird stuff always happens. I don't want to.
Rossi takes another cathode ray out of the time capsule, and he hands it to Fish.
Okay, she'll take it and she's gonna work to replace it.
Okay. You begin to pull out the old one. Again, that same sort of wiggle back and forth, that seesaw. And as you pull it out of its rubber casing, you too have one of these episodes as a wave sort of washes over you. You see, excuse me, you see your time here at the town of Glenbrook, sort of moving in quick motion, as if you are an observer. In fact, your memory is jogged to the first time you really met Elliot. And he said, "You're the kids from the movies." It has that same sort of perspective, as if you are watching. You're not actively living through this in the same way that you have no idea that Rossi was, but you're sort of in an aerial perspective, watching yourself as if from above, moving things around and interacting in a very sped up timeline of your introduction to the carnival all the way to here. Classes, etc. You just sort of seem to be like a balloon ambiently following yourself, essentially, watching your life move through everything, except you're seeing it from an altered perspective. So you're seeing anything that was hidden by the other kids, anything that they were doing that you may not have seen from first person. You now have a full view of everything anyone did around you, or at least if you presume this to be true, of all of this thing happening. Everything from a heightened view. You can even see the carnival. With your knowledge, you see the behind the scenes of like scientists working, running cables. You see the lights flashing, obviously much faster. Everything is sped up. You see people moving. You see strange things that O'Rourke was doing. You see any of the semaphore or the other one that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. Twin River Semaphore or New England Positronics, thank you. Any of the vans that have gone by places, they all head off in the direction of the loop, which is new information to you. So basically you see your life in Glenbrook sped up before you, until you get to here, and then you feel this lurching motion as if someone tugged the balloon, and you sort of drop to a knee. And everyone else, you see her drop to one knee, holding this thing, sort of like breathing as if she just sprinted.
You see what I mean?
That was weird. I feel like it was like I was watching myself and all of you. Like I was watching like it was kind of like how Elliot would kind of describe like watching a movie. Like I was like a camera.
Plug it in, gets even weirder.
Yeah, and she's gonna quickly plug in the new one.
You do the same thing. You reach in and you start to plug this thing in, and you again have that wave, and you find yourself. Roll me a comprehend.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna use my last luck.
Okay.
3 successes.
3 successes. Cool. With no need to walk you through this, you know, for whatever reason, you find yourself in a room, and immediately you have this like stomach turn, that roller coaster, something bad is about to happen feeling, and you look around, and without a second thought, you know exactly where you are. Where that is, you have no idea. Similar to before, when you met Elliot, there were 3 tapes. One only played in reverse, one only played forward, and one only showed anything when you paused it. and the only scene you saw was a room full of banks of terminals and scientists. You are in this room. There are scientists, you presume, technicians, clacking away at keyboards. You hear this in real time. There's no slow motion or weirdness like there was in Rossi's. You hear people typing. You see like server banks. You see a strange circular arch, very similar to the one you saw in the basement of that woman's house, and similar to what Dee Dee described and you saw the remnants of underneath O'Rourke's shop. And you see a much younger, goateed Aiden LaBelle walking out. And as soon as you see him round the corner of this hallway into this room through this door, you can see him talking. And there's that hatred, that sort of bile in your stomach, as you look at him, knowing that somehow he's behind this. Dinkelberg, he walks through the door, and you see him talking over his shoulder to someone behind him, and behind him walks in your mother. She is having a conversation with LaBelle as they walk through. He says, we're calling this Project Stargate. We're not entirely sure. We have an idea of what it's going to do, but there are limits to our level of research, and there's limits to what we want to do. It relates to your project. It relates to the. How do I explain this in a way that you're going to understand? No offense, Miss Fisher, but this relates. This relates to the Gemini. What you're doing is going to prevent any slips that could be caused by this. We're calling it a fractal tessellation. If you can set up the net, that should prevent access both ways. It should make it a single viewing window. The success of this project hinges on your mission. There are several technicians that will be aboard your ship, but you will be commanding this mission. So we're going to set you through an 8-week instructional boot camp to explain to you exactly what you're doing here and what you'll be doing when the ship reaches orbit. And you see her with the same exact shirt you're wearing now, nod and say, no, I completely understand. I've been briefed on the Gemini project. I've been briefed on the basics of Stargate, and I understand what could happen if we don't get this in place. I hear that you're... What's that?
She runs towards them to get closer.
You run towards them, and you hear... I hear you're taking candidates for the neural net project. And as soon as you hear that, that's about the time you start to like skid to a halt. And you collide with your mother. And you all see Fish collapse forward and sort of let go of the tube and almost bash her head into the server as whoever's closest sort of catches her before she hits her face.
And she yells out, "Mom!"
You all hear her scream, "Mom."
You're okay? And he's gonna help her up.
And she just shakes her head. Saw my mom. In that room. On the tape. What tape was it? The red tape?
The yellow tape.
The yellow tape? The room on the yellow tape when we paused it at Elliot's place. The science room with all this with the weird things on the wall. She was there with Mr. LaBelle.
Your mom knew Mr. LaBelle?
He knew about her mission, her shuttle mission. That she didn't get to go on.
Good.
Yeah. They said a lot of things. There's like a Gemini project, and then no tessellation. She says tessellation really loud. Quiet, please.
Rossi is in the background jotting things down in his journal, trying to keep every single note he can.
Yeah, she's like, there's a tessellation, fractal tessellation, and like in my journal or her journal, and she holds it up. And then they mentioned a neural net mesh. I don't know what the hell that is, but there's a whole lot of stuff that they said. And she got the thing plugged in, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Rossi pulls out the last cathode from the time capsule, and he just says, "Who else wants to have a bit of fun with time?"
Dee Dee's across the room in the swivel chair that's in front of the desk, going around and round and round and round. And she says, can we go to the roller rink?
When we're done here, and she takes it from Rossi and gives it to Jojo.
The last time I touched weird shit like this didn't go well. And he just looks at Fish.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
It's not me I'm worried about. And he's going to walk up, hesitate for a second, and then grab the one in the machine to pull it out.
Okay. You begin wiggling this thing out, and again, that same thing, that rubber boonk, as it comes out, and you are hit with a wave. You see your home. You see your home, and for the first time ever in 50-ish, 40-ish episodes of Glenbrook, Jojo, please describe your parents.
Yeah.
Jesus, Mike. I never wrote down what they look like.
I know.
It was a trap.
Sure, I did.
Mike
If you
really wants to know
had-
what they look like.
If you had, I would have described them for you, but you didn't. So,
I think they're pretty normal-looking people. Jojo's parents, if depending on what time of day this is them prepping for work. They're in janitorial uniforms, ready to go to work, as that was their or is their job at the Loop. Maybe still. But they're fairly plain, ordinary people. Nothing stand out. His mom's long hair, normal. His dad's tall, normal.
great.
So serial killers.
Pretty
Is what
generic.
So, a nondescript, generic white family. We see them
Yep.
not in janitorial garb. We see them in regular clothes. Your dad's in jeans. Your mom is in pleated pants, shoulder pads, etc. And they are sat at the kitchen table, or the dining room table, inside the still fully functional Johnson home. Across from them is someone you would all identify as somebody from the Loop. Something about the slick back hair, the tie, the suit, etc. And we hear a noise, reminiscent of Dee Dee, actually, in the house. The noise of too much activity. And we see a young boy, no older than 8 or 9, sort of run out of a room, down a hallway, and over towards his parents. To which you see the mother sort of reach down and not scoop him up, but sort of tuck him into her arm and give that side hug before whispering, this is adult business. Go ahead and run along and play with your toys. To which we hear a precocious, "Okay, Mom," and the kid runs back in there. Presumably, this is a young Jojo. We stay in this scene as the person across the way puts a briefcase on the table, unlatches it, opens it, and ominously pulls out folders. And he says, "Per our discussion, for all intents and purposes, you will be part of the janitorial staff at the Loop. Is that understood?" They both respond, "Yes." You will be given the janitorial uniform, you'll be given access codes, and if anyone asks, that will be your job. Everything will be taken care of for you, the home will be paid for, everyone will be looked after. Now, these are consent forms. I will need each of you to sign them in triplicate, initial here, here. I've put a note at each spot. I will sign them once you are done, and when that is complete, your first check will arrive in 1 week's time, and you will begin being part of the project. Now, These documents are simple boilerplate. We will not be responsible for any side effects. We will cover any medical costs. Any loss of life, limb, etc. will be covered by the company, and your affairs will be looked after. Please take your time to read this over. I'll be back in the following days to pick up these forms from you. If you choose to opt out of the program, this and any conversation we've had have not happened. Good day, Johnson family. And he closes this briefcase, clasps both of the latches, picks it up, and slides it off the table. And Jojo, you see yourself run back down the hallway, and you hear, "Mom, Mom, Mom, Mom!" And as soon as you see your younger self run into the room, that is when you fade out. You all see Jojo stock rigid as he is holding this tube, and he is sweating profusely. Jojo, you have essentially flop sweat as you snap back to it and blink a few times. You just feel like sweat running down your face.
He wipes it on his arm, says absolutely nothing, and then just tries to put the next tube in.
Okay, you quickly switch and you begin to push that in. Less wiggling and more forcing it in to make this happen as fast as possible. And then another wave hits you. And similar to Rossi, you find yourself standing in a place. Although the time period seems far more recent. You find yourself standing in what you know to be a Radio Shack. You hear a lot of noise happening, and you recognize this as the Radio Shack in Glenbrook. Walking towards the back of the room, you see a familiar sight. You see this back room full of stomach high workbenches with piles of books and notebooks. You see a cork board with like a loop business card with a pocket knife stabbed into it, and you see an opened trap door, not too dissimilar to the one you're in right now. And as you walk down there, you see a tube you recognize. In it, you see Billy Duncan. You see that his head is sort of lolled to the side, and he very much looks asleep. You see that there is a series of tubes and cables that sort of run down and act as like a face mask that's sort of strapped over his head, presumably for oxygen or something else. And you see that there are several diodes across his chest, his temples, the ditch of his arm, and he is wearing essentially like skin tight boxer shorts in here. And you see that all of these cables run to a series of piecemealed computers and a large device that looks to be a human exosuit. You see him open this cabinet and begin taking off pieces of the exosuit and then putting them on the unconscious Billy. Essentially like the Nintendo Power Glove, but for both hands, a headset, a similar power boot, giving him full haptic synapses in this thing. He closes that latch, and you see him crank a nozzle at the base of it, and it begins to fill up with this viscous blue liquid. Again, you're also familiar with that. You see him slide over on his wheeled like stool and begin typing things in, and you see vitals begin to flash up. And you see transferring on one of the computers, and you see what looks to be like almost like an arcade cabinet, but probably twice the size of an arcade cabinet. And you see the back end of it isn't enclosed like it would normally be. It's just a fully exposed, like you can see all the circuitry and all that stuff, and you see it load up with the karate game. And you see it downloading and creating new character as it pixelates, almost Tron like that, as it prints out Billy Duncan's fighter. You're watching O'Rourke transfer Billy's consciousness to this device, and you see him hit a button. And then you see him walk back around, not like around you, but just past you, up through the stairs, and then close the door behind him. And as he does, the light sort of filters out of the room, and all you see is the light from the tube, the light from the computers, and the light from the arcade cabinet. And you are left alone here. You expect to be jolted back to reality, but you are not. What are you doing?
The arcade cabinet that he's being where you see the game that he's being transferred into. Are there any buttons specifically on that are labeled?
Yeah, there's all the labels you would see on a 2-player arcade cabinet. There's a joystick. There is high punch, low punch, high kick, low kick, and jump.
And the transfer is currently in progress?
It is currently in progress.
Is the arcade cabinet plugged in?
It is.
To the wall?
It is.
Power?
Yep.
He is going to flick the switch on the power. Or attempt to.
To off?
To off.
Okay. You flick the switch to off. What is your goal here?
To stop Billy being transferred into a game.
Interesting. Interesting. You flick the power switch, and you hear that of the machine powering down. And as you hear that, it's almost as if your vision does the same thing a TV does, where it sort of like, and there's that like final blink. And you are, again, standing there. You are freezing cold, both physically and to the touch, and again, sweating profusely. Fish, Rossi, Didi, you see him shivering and shaking as if he just plunged into an ice bath.
Jojo, and she will grab him. Like, are you okay?
I don't know. Maybe. Yes. No.
What did you see?
I saw my parents with the first one, and then they worked for the Loop, and they were joining some project, and then I saw O'Rourke putting Billy into the game.
Whoa.
But I tried to stop it.
Did it work?
I have no idea.
Does the light look any more stable?
It does. They all look far more stable. And Dee Dee, since you're the furthest away from everything and sort of watching this thing, you see that before, when it looked like you couldn't really tell what direction the lights were going in, maybe back and forth, maybe all towards the center, they all seem to be going one direction from left to right.
Dee Dee notices that still spinning, and she's doing the thing where you look in one direction, but you still spin your body, and then you whip your head around and you keep looking at the thing. That's what she does.
Perfect. Yeah, you see it all flowing from left to right.
We fixed it. Go Team Miller.
You all hear that?
I think it's fixed, and it's not pulsing with.
No more pulsing?
Okay, with gamma radiation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it fixed permanently, or is it just fixed for now?
Do we know if the diodes or whatever run out? Like, do they?
I mean, they over time, yeah, they can break down like a light bulb. Your best guess is that the piecemealed ones were of lesser quality, and they burnt out faster.
How many years would the good ones last?
It's hard to know how long they were in there before, but with what you know and the number of successes you've had on random nonsense today, I would say you have at least another 10 years.
We should just come back in 10 years.
Yeah, but we're not be here. Should we get new ones and
like
bury
dead
it?
in 10 years. I'm just so old.
Should we just bury new ones like they did?
Sure, you can do that.
Can we buy new ones? And he looks at the cathode rays. Are they like normal? Did you buy from the shop? And he looks at
Just
Dee
get
Dee
a
and
Radio
Rossi.
Shack.
You can get a Radio Shack.
There is no
Yeah, we don't
Radio
have one of those.
Shack.
Just go to the next town over.
Just jump in my car and drive there.
Do
Well,
you
we
have a car? You have a car?
we have 10
Oh.
years.
Can I drive it?
He loves DD. I don't even have a house.
No, we can just go on our bikes. You know, you don't kid about that stuff, Jojo.
He's a big kidder. And she's going to close the server box.
Everyone. Actually, you know what? No. Nothing. Everyone do whatever you want to do.
What?
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess if it's fixed in, say, 10 years, Rossi is going to flip to the back of his journal and tear a page out. And on that page, he's going to write detailed instructions and all as details about all this, and then put it in the time capsule with the cassette tape. And it's like, well, if we're going to rebury it.
Okay.
We'll get some new tubes when we can get to a Radio Shack.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go to a roller rink?
Yeah, we go to the
Tomorrow.
United
Fish
States.
did promise you that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow? School's tomorrow.
It's
It's
Friday.
Saturday tomorrow.
Oh, well, we can go then too.
Yeah, we'll go to United States of America tomorrow.
Um,
But no laser tag.
full circle. You guys exit the cabin, closing the doors behind you. First realizing that it's probably barely noon.
We should
But
go to a roller rink.
exactly. The camera lingers in the basement as the door closes and the light sort of filters out of the room. And we stay as the camera slides behind the Aeon conductor, as it were, and you see a left-right toggle with a green light and a red light, and the words "on" and "off" at the back of it. We transition through time, and we see the kids take Dee Dee to the United States of America, as they have a good time listening to the DJ up in the UFO booth play the hits of the 80s, laser lights flicker across the floor, a small arcade room with a prize cabinet is there, and despite any attempts to enter into the next game of laser tag, they're all met with a stern look and a wagged finger to Fish, from Fish rather. And we transition to the following Monday, February 10th. As Fish and Rossi and Danny and Shane and John all enter the school, walking to the halls, the bell rings as you all walk to your class, and you see a ghost walk through the hallway and shoulder check Danny. Danny sort of spins around, and as Fish opens her mouth to a litany of profanities, you are stopped as you see Billy Duncan turn, look at Danny, and say, "Get out of the way, you fucking dork." And that's where we end this episode.
You just said the F word to my
Of-
friend Daddy? I'm gonna
of
kick him in the
Glenbrook
balls.
Chronicles.
But a heavy textbook gets prepared to be thrown.
And
That-
Elliot too, right? Elliot too.
Elliot too, right? You're right.
Okay,
Sorry,
good.
I forgot Elliot. I'm sorry. He's not in another universe. In
Otherwise, we
Composite
have
Video.
another problem.
Yeah. And that is where we end this episode of Glenbrook Chronicles.
Yay.
Is it a clone? Did JoJo reset time? Who knows? Find out next time on Glenbrook Chronicles. Let's go around, do our introductions, and get the hell out of here so we can do our after show. We will start with the ever excitable Dee Dee. Melissa, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hi, y'all. I am Melissa Meyer, draftier in the Discord. Where am I? I am where I'm here. I'm here in unMadeGaming, and I hang out in the Discord, and yeah, that's about it. That's
Perfect.
what I do. Oh, Age of Always. I do Age of Always and Mundus Novus.
Yeah. And check out Games with Stories for all of Melissa's amazing artwork that she's done of countless things, but also of the awesome characters that she plays and views here on the channel. Go check that out. It's very cool. From Melissa, we'll jump over to Chris. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Chris A.K. Necker. You can find me in the Discord. That's it. Atari Twilight, Age of Always with G and Melissa, and The Rise with both DE and G as well.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Over to Matt. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I'm Matt or DE in the Discord. You'll find me here in the one shots and in the Rise, and traveling about the United States.
Perfect. And last but not least, our amazing community manager, G. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hello, I'm G, the friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. You'll find me everywhere you'll find unMadeGaming for modding during the week, streaming or playing in all the Patreon games and the Patreon campaign and the Mundus Novus campaign and an Age of Always. Maybe we can, I want to get some more games in there too. So
Maybe.
more games. Yeah. And in the Discord all the time, you can find me.
Hell frickin' yes. That is it for our monthly one-shots. That is it for our most recent foray into Glenbrook. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed the closure. I think that is going to be it for us. Thank you so much for being here. So from all of us to you guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.